Hello, my amazing artists. Today we will be drawing together a cute dog. As we draw, you will see that you can draw any type of dog by starting with basic shapes as building blocks and then customizing the details depending on which breed is your favorite. So grab a piece of paper and a pencil and let's get started. Today we are going to draw a cute dog, and I'm going to show you some basic shapes we can use to draw the body, and you can customize the face and ears and tail and nose depending on what breed you would prefer to draw. The supplies that you'll need today is basic supplies, just a pencil, some sort of black marker, and an eraser. When drawing the body of a dog, it's best to start with basic shapes like circles and rectangles, and it's best to start from biggest and work your way down to littlest. So we're going to start with the biggest shapes, which is the dog's body. So I'm going to start by very lightly sketching a circle. Notice how I sketch it a few times as I go around, touching very, very lightly. Most of these lines I'm going to end up erasing, but when I draw multiple lines, that gives me a few options to adjust my shape and pick the lines that work best as I go. So this is going to be the front portion of the dog's body. To draw the back end of the dog, I'm going to overlap the circle a little bit like a Venn diagram, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Maybe work my way slightly bigger, adjust the shape if I need to. Then the dog's head is going to be sticking up here, a little bit smaller than the body. Then the dog's back leg also has a circular shape overlapping the back of the body. That would be like his back thigh. And then we can start, let's see, I can add a little bit of a circle here for the mouth area. And then I can start going and adding in some more details. So I've got my biggest shapes and I can start going a little smaller. I think I also want to add in a circle here for the thigh of the front leg. Now the back legs are kind of interesting because they tilt in, then out, and then in again, kind of like a zigzag. So I'm gonna start with this curve here on the back end. I'm gonna tilt it in, back out, and back in again. So this section right up here is actually the dog's heel. His heel is way up high, and down here, dogs actually walk on their tiptoes. So his foot is down at the bottom, and I'm gonna make the foot kind of like a rectangle for now. And then this section, it kind of curves up over here. Now I think this tilted in a little bit too much, so I'm going to redraw a new line. It helps to leave the old line, not to erase and then redraw, because I want to make sure I don't accidentally just redraw the same thing I did for the first time. So after you redraw your new line, then you can go back and erase the old line. And I see that's a much better width. It was too skinny before. Now his back leg would be kind of coming out from his tummy. So I want to kind of smooth out the curve of his tummy first. I don't want it jutting in so much. So I'm going to kind of smooth it out like an upside down circle. Goes around this way. The front leg kind of curves in and then down. And then he's got his little paw right here. Might angle that a little bit more. Then I'm going to smooth out this curve right here. Make that dentin not quite so big. Smooth that out. Still think his back should stick out a little bit more. Smooth out his neck area. And then make it more like a rectangle around his little muzzle. And then the back legs are farther away from us, so they will be higher up on the page. Anytime anything's farther away, it shows up higher on the page. The closer it is to you, the lower on the page it goes. So I'm going to try and repeat this shape right here, but I won't see as much of it because most of it is hidden. So it's just kind of peeking out a little bit. And his other front leg here. And then you got to start deciding what you want your dog to look like. So we've got our basic shapes in here, but then you got to think about what breed you want to draw. So if you have a dog at home and you want this to be a drawing of your dog, you need to go either look at your dog or a picture of your dog and notice the shape of his ears. Do they stick straight up? Or instead, do they flop over? Like maybe it comes up and then points down like a triangle. Some dogs do that. There's a big variety of dog ears. Do they have little ears? Do they have big ears? So you want to think about your dogs. You want to think about how far out his nose sticks. Some dogs have really close to the head, some stick out really far. You want to think about their tail. Is it a fluffy tail? Is it a short tail? Is it a skinny tail? And how much fur do they have? So I'm gonna draw a kind of furry dog. So I'm gonna add some little zigzags to the front to kind of show the fur. So I'd get rid of that smooth line. At this point, I can kind of go in and erase some of my guidelines. I'm not worried about 100% erasing them yet, but just to get things a little less confusing, I'm gonna erase some of those guidelines. And start adding in my details. I think I want to make his neck a little thinner, maybe add some spiky fur. I think I'll do droopy ears this time, kind of droops over. There's his back ear just kind of poking out a little bit. Then the eye, drawing it from the side view like this, you want to draw a curved line on the front and then it kind of comes to a triangle. I'm drawing the eyes a little big to be a little bit more dramatic. You just see half of a circle here for his eye. And you can make his his brow line scoop up over a little bit. Then for his nose area, just this tip part is kind of like the half of the triangle area. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of a mouth. Dogs often have like an underbite, so their lower jaw is a little, comes in farther than their outer jaw. Now I'm gonna add a big floofy tail. So I'm gonna do a little curve coming up and do some, from here, some zigzags. Maybe add some zigzags here. And I think I want to emphasize this thigh a little bit more. Add some more fluff and some zigzags around. I've got a fluffy dog here. My real dog name is Eva. She is actually not very fluffy, but I think fluffy dogs are pretty cute. And then I want to go and add a little bit more details to the toes. I think I want to angle it up a little bit more. Add in some little toe pads. If he has sharp nails, you can add in little triangles for the nails. My dog has not been to the groomer for a while, so her nails are pretty long right now. She's taking a nap over in the corner while I make this video. And then it's time, I can hear her dreaming. Then it's time to start adding some shading in. To add shading and color to my dog, I'm going to use a variety of brown and kind of beige colored pencils, but you can use any supply that you have on hand. You could use crayons or markers or paint or pastels, whatever you happen to have. To try and get a furry texture, I do recommend colored pencils if you have them, but otherwise just use whatever you have on hand. I'm going to show the drawing part in time lapse because it can take a long time, so I'm going to speed it up for you guys. Here's my completed puppy dog. I just wanted to go over a few things that I did during the coloring section. Make sure you color some areas darker. So I had several, oops, that's pencil. I used 4 different brown colors, a light, a dark, and then kind of 2 in between to add a variety of value. Remember, value is the transition from light to dark. You want at least 3 values, a light, a medium, and a dark. So you want to try and have at least 3 values in your drawing. So I have some sections that are very light, that's where the sun hits it the most, and some areas that are much darker. I probably could have pushed them even darker on this, but I'm gonna stop for now. Also, it's really nice to give your drawing a sense of place. So the simplest way to do that is take your colored pencil, lay it so it's flat, so you're coloring with the long side, not the tip. So lay it so it's sort of flat. You're holding it differently than when you normal write. And you color using the broad section. That gives you big, bold strokes of line. Make it a little darker right where he's standing. And that gives him a sense of place. So he's not just floating randomly in the page. And then you can take that way more detailed and you could add stuff around your dog. Maybe your dog's in your backyard, maybe your dog's in your bedroom. What else could I put around my dog to show where he is? Well, that's the end of my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed my drawing. I hope you do your own drawing and share with me a picture of what you've done. I really would love to see it. I'll see you guys next time.